Welcome to today's lecture. Yesterday we looked at factorizing trinomials with only positive signs. All three terms had positive signs. Today we're going to look at trinomials that have a combination of positive and negative signs, and it's just as easy. If you're not already following me daily, you're welcome to join my channel and press subscribe below here. And you can also catch up on missed work, and I have materials on my channel from grade 1 up to senior school. Right, let us have a look at today's lecture. So we're going to factor a trinomial with a positive and a negative term. So let's go see what the rules are. We have 3 rules to look at. The first rule is, you can see we have a trinomial here. So you can see we've got different signs here today. So let's have a look at what we're first going to look at. We're going to look at this third term. If this third term is positive, yes it is, that means when we split the trinomial into 2 different parentheses, we're going to have our signs alike. So they're going to be either 2 minuses or, well, it'll probably be 2 minuses. So but they're going to have alike signs. That's what this plus tells you, okay? And then we have to look at our middle term as well. If the middle term is negative, like over here, it will say that both signs will be minus. So let's have a look at that quickly. Let us quickly factorize this. It'll be the 2 sets of parentheses. And then our first term, we're going to factorize into A and A. And then because this is a plus, it means both the signs are going to be the same. And because this is a minus, it means that they're both going to be minus signs. So we're going to put our minuses in there. And then we're going to factorize this one and get it to add up to that one, like we learned yesterday. And the factors of 3, because it's a prime number, are only 1 times 3. So we're going to put them there, 1 and 3. It doesn't matter what your order is. So we have A minus 1, A minus 3. That is how we factorize that trinomial. And if you look carefully, minus 1 minus 3 is going to be minus 4. And that is what we have to do when we factorize trinomials. It's got to come to the middle term, and that worked well. So this is the first rule to remember, that if there's a positive sign here, it means both the signs are going to be alike, and that this sign tells us these are both going to be minuses. Okay. If this sign was a plus, then it would be a different story. They'd be both pluses. Right, let's look at the next rule. So we have the same one, except now we have a different sign in front of the 4. So our first part is we're going to look at our third term, and it's positive. So it tells us the signs are going to be alike. And then we look at our middle term, and it's also positive. So it tells us those 2 signs are both going to be plus. So let's factorize. A, and the factors of 3 are 1 times 3. And they're both going to have to be positive because of that. Okay, over there. Right, so that's the next thing. Let's look at the last one. So here we have a negative and a negative. Now remember, we're first going to look at our third term, and we've got a negative there. And this term is negative, so both signs are opposites. We'll have 1 plus and 1 minus. Okay, so they're not going to be alike, they're opposites. Right, and then we're going to look at our middle term. It's also minus. Now, the next rule is, if this middle term's a minus, the larger of the factors which you use when you factorize the third term is going to take on the sign that's standing here. So let's go do that. And if that sign is, so if the term in the middle is negative, then the larger factor is negative. And if the term in the middle is positive, then the larger factor is positive. So it depends on what that term in the middle is in terms of its sign. And then the bigger factor will take on that sign. So let's factorize this one. It will be A. Now we know we've got 2 different signs. It's a minus and a plus. And our factors for 5, because it's a prime number, are just 1 and 5. And this sign here tells us the bigger of the 2 is going to have to be the negative 1. So we're going to say minus 5 plus 1. So we've got our 2 opposite signs, which we found out in our third term there. And we've given the bigger of the two factors, which is 5, the minus, and there it is there. Okay, so if you look at these in detail, you should never have a problem factorizing with these rules. You've got to pay attention to your signs. I'll see you in tomorrow's class.